All right, friends, it's T and I'm back with another video. And I'm going to review the bald Omni-Man's fake claims. How muscle is built. So yeah, it says my New Year's resolution to smash door frames. The Berserk method. Yeah, okay, the Berserk method, yes. So let's review this video. He claims how I gained 50 pounds of muscle naturally. The honest truth, yeah.
Fellas, Happy New Year. I hope you're able to spend time with friends and family.
Yes, he's the only one on the planet that gained it naturally, 50 pounds, by doing these exercises. Exercises built him these muscles. Weights built him muscles. That's what he says. He said that the weights built him those muscles, 50 pounds of muscles. Yeah, watch at I think it's 4.5. We'll get there in 4 minutes.
I've been in a very contemplative mood lately because I did spend a lot of time with friends and family the past couple weeks and doing things that I enjoy.
You gotta love this. His shoulders and arms look crappy for this 50 pounds. It looks washed out. It looks sarcoplasmic-y. It looks washed out. Because, man, to gain 50 pounds of myofibrillar growth is extremely, and I mean extremely difficult. The amount of injuries that you have to cause repetitively to muscle fibers week after week after month to get, and plus you need to eat horrendous amounts of food, and I mean horrendous. After your workouts, you got to eat for 4 hours because it's an apoptosis, and then you need to keep eating. I don't know, restaurants, whatever. You need a lot of money. You got to eat all day, all night. You got to be in an anabolic growth state. Protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown in that period of time to keep building those muscles. 50 pounds of myofibrillar growth. Think about that. You ever pick up a 50-pound weight? Yeah. He put on 50 pounds of myofibrillar growth. You think he built real muscles? You have to be really out of your mind if you believe this guy.
Outside of training and creating on our platform here. And that puts me in a space to want to tell a story, talk about my journey, the Berserk method.
Yes, this is his story, the Berserk method. You ever heard that before? You ever heard of a method called a Berserk method in science that builds muscle? That's not what science says. Science says that injuries are what cause the progenitor cell to activate, enter the cell cycle, create nascent muscle fibers, new cells repair, remodel. And that would take over 10 to 12 days. Some to 10 to actually, the shortest period of time, depending if you're in anabolic growth state, is 7 to 10 to 14 days. That's what it says in science, for muscles to repair and remodel. And then they can be, the weaker ones can be damaged now because you're out of the RBE. You become unaccustomed now. You're out of RBE once those fibers are repaired and remodeled. If they're not completely, you keep going to the gym. The RBE just keeps protecting it, sits in type 1, you're an endurance athlete. You get sarcoplasmic muscles.
All pertains to you. What did y'all do over the holiday though, man? Me personally, I got myself the Resident Evil 4 remake.
Like, look at these lame exercises. You think these lame exercises going up and down, this built him muscles. Like, this did something to his muscles, they built.
I have been blasting it every day, all day, like a 5 a.m. Dorito cheese blaster, Cheeto dust all over my fingers. That caliber of gamer. That was me the past, week and a half that I've been playing it, bro. I just beat Leon's campaign. I'm working on the separate ways one, but as I said, when I give myself space to do that, it gets me in a mood to tell a story. I don't know where this is going to go, but I do know that I want to talk my inspirations and my journey and things that I do that have carried me throughout that journey, and hopefully you can learn something from it as well. Now, fellas, look, today's story comes with something that is like a New Year's resolution. I'm not really big into New Year's resolutions just because I try to live each day to its fullest. That doesn't mean that I'm without fault. That just means that I just try to generally get after things that I want when I want them. But this has been something...
We're almost getting there. Hold on. I don't want to hear this part. I don't want to bore you. I don't know exactly where it is.
All of y'all should read, because when you read it with that in mind, you're going to find something that's relatable to you. More importantly, when the author of Berserk, Kentaro Miura, passed away.
All right, here it is.
To that for me, but we can all think about that. I wanted to take that feeling of overcoming adversity, centering yourself and steeling yourself, meaning preparing and physically fortifying yourself. I wanted to share that with people. And with the Berserk method, I have evolved over time. For me, I have always bought into my key principles. First and foremost of which, in my mind, just off the top of my head, is that we get stronger to get bigger. You should be wanting to...
There you go. You get stronger to get bigger. That's what he just said in that video. Okay, I'm going to debunk that bullshit that he just said. So that getting stronger is an adaptation. All right? Myocytic androgen receptor controls the strength, but not the mass of the limb muscle. So you want to know what controls the mass of the limb muscles. So if that controls the strength, the myocytic androgen receptor, you get more adaptations in these receptors for that force production, for maximum force production, like it says down here, for maximum force production. That's what they're required for. Okay, so that's what you're really getting. It's a chemical strength. It's an additional thing. Why is that? Because you're not building muscle anymore. Because muscle hit an MND size limit. I'll explain that too. That's how I know him 50 pounds of muscle. I don't know what he's talking about. So, hold on a second. See how easy it is to debunk all this stuff? These fake natties? Okay, so this is PubMed. What determines MND size limit? Well, MND size has a ceiling limit during hypertrophic process, beyond which extra myonuclei are donated by satellite cell to support further muscle growth. See that? When does that happen? When does that happen? Oh, you want to know when that happens exactly? Okay. I'll show you when it reaches hypertrophic process, okay? So you probably heard of this. It's called, oh sorry, this is some stupid guy. His info's in there, some dummy. Okay, so there's a thing called nuclei acquired by overload exercise. Precedes hypertrophy, are not lost on detraining. That's what they call it. It's not a training for nuclei. Okay, so here it is. It looks like this. It's a map. So when you first come in the gym, it's called untrained first training satellite cell fusion. See those satellites? They're donating their myonuclei, and then they hypertrophy, but they reached an MND size limit there. That progenitor can no longer donate any more extra nuclei to that domain to support further muscle growth. So what happens is, it's an adaptation process. It's protected. It's this damage, to get that is through damage, but it's protected. It's protected by the RBE. It's protected by the RBE. Repeated bout effect phenomena. It's an adaptation process, like it says there. Repeated bout effect refers to the adaptation process where it protects from any more muscle damage. By giving you muscles, it protects muscle from getting any more muscle. You from getting any more muscle. You understand me? Now, he said he gained 50 pounds, so he kept coming in. Okay, I'll explain that too. So he's a chronic lifter. That's what I found out. So you keep coming in. Now that the RBE is protecting muscle, it's an adaptation process. You reached an MND size limit. There's also no more muscle damage to the muscle fibers. What are you getting coming into the gym? Resistance training. It's largely attributed to what? Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Sarcoplasmic. All right. So what is sarcoplasmic hypertrophy? What is it? Oh, it's a type of artificial muscle growth. See that? Why is it a type of artificial muscle growth? What is it based on? Because there's more than one type of hypertrophy. That's why. You have myofibular and sarcoplasmic. It focuses more on the increase in what? Muscle glycogen stores. Muscle glycogen stores. So when you look at this guy, what is his muscles? They're glycogen storage. They're glycogen being stored in there. Now, how is he getting more of this glycogen? Well, I can tell you how to do it naturally. Just eat potatoes. They're complex carbohydrates. They load the best. They don't spike insulin, and they load the best really fast in muscle. In other words, to build these glycogen sarcoplasmic muscles, glycogen synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown to build those glycogen muscles. Now, if you want to build myofibular, when you're building myofibular, when you were untrained and building it, protein synthesis needed to exceed that breakdown to build it, or otherwise you would get an apoptosis. But you're not building anymore. It's a very small window. It's very short. You call it newbie gains, whatever. That's why you all say, I have a genetic limit, reached the genetic limit, this limit, newbie gain limit, hard gainer, and all that baloney. Yeah. So, yeah, man. But how is he absorbing it? I think he's taking something artificial to absorb it, because I don't think he knows about these modalities, because anybody that calls your method berserk is retarded. But that's just me, okay, man? I don't know about you.
To lift more weight over time, because that's ultimately what's going to get you bigger.
Yeah, so if you lift more weight over time, that's ultimately what's going to get you bigger. How many people are lifting heavier weight in the gym and not getting bigger? You understand me? They're lifting heavy weight in the gym and they're not getting bigger. Why? Because myocytic androgen receptor controls the strength, not the mass of the limb muscles. And the RBE protects muscle from any more muscle damage. And myonuclear domain size limit protects muscle from getting any more nuclei, because it too is a protective process. It too will not give you any more during hypertrophic process. It is beyond where it could support any more muscle growth. You understand me? It's very, very, very particular. So he's a liar. But these glycogen muscles are, look, fat is easy. It's easy to get fat. That's why it's not uncommon to see a 1,000-pound fat man walking down the street, because because fat cells don't have an MND size limit, but muscles have an MND size limit. They're overseen. That cytoplasm, that cell, is overseen by the MND size limit. It can only get so big. And how do you get bigger? You need more cells, and then protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown to get them more bigger. Get it? Yeah, man. But you're not building myofibular growth. Otherwise, you'd be naturally stronger. Natural strength would have gone up. But instead, you got a chemical strength. You all are pushing for chemical strength and creating these fake artificial muscles because you're chronically lifting. You become an endurance athlete now. And yeah, man, you're performance, enhancing your performance, whatever, in the gym. That's all you're doing. You're a factory worker, lifting boxes in a gym, bro. That's it. That's basically the bottom line.
Now, over the years, in the process of growing on our platform, on YouTube, I have flirted with different ideas that have allowed me to evolve that idea. You don't just lift weight for the sake of lifting.
Yes, evolve with that idea. If you really, truly were to get that damage, if you truly were damaging muscles, injuring them constantly in the gym, then you'd get these symptoms every time you worked out. You'd get these symptoms all the time if you were working out. Come into the gym. Look at DOMS, onset muscle soreness. It is an ultrastructural muscle injury. The manifestation of DOMS is caused by eccentric or unfamiliar forms of exercise. So exercise is what causes DOMS. And what is that? What is that associated with? The clinical signs include reduced force capacities. He says you're going to get stronger, you're going to get bigger. Well, if you're getting damaged muscle fibers in the gym, then your force capacity is being reduced, nah? Increased painful restriction of movement, stiffness, swelling, and adjacent joints. Dysfunction of adjacent joints. Dysfunction. Yeah, man, because that's what happens when you get damaged muscle fibers. You get pain, swelling, you get dysfunction, reduced capacities, all these things, bro. Although DOMS is considered a mild type of injury, which is damage, It is one of the most common reasons for compromised supportive performance. We know that. It compromises your performance. But you want to perform in a gym. So you think that performance builds a muscle. Performance don't build muscles. Injuries do.